Hello and welcome to EUTV Sports Update. We'll be looking at the latest sports news from Evangel University and around the region. I'm Caden McBride.
We'll also look at college games across the nation and check out the latest happenings in professional sports. I'm Elijah Van Etta, and this is Sports Update on EUTV.
Elijah, in the world of Valor Sports, we have quite a bit to talk about today.
Oh yeah, for sure. Some men's basketball, women's basketball, we got baseball, we got track and field. So a lot of great sports out there, a lot of great accomplishments this week, and I'm excited to hop right into it. So.
Absolutely. I say let's go ahead and get it started, yeah? On Saturday evening, men's Valor basketball went up against the Sterling Warriors in the Ashcroft Center. In the first 12 minutes of the game, Valor managed a 23-11 lead with key baskets in the paint from Bryce Hunt. The Warriors fought back and narrowed the score within 3 points, with Evangel barely in the lead, 25-22. The Valor tightened their defense, not allowing the Warriors to score, and then went on a 12-0 run, leaving the halftime score at 37-22. The highlight of the second half was a consistent offense play from Evangel. Sterling was unable to cut the game down to single digits. In the final 8 minutes of the game, the Valor went on a final push, and it was a 10-2 run, giving no chance for a Warrior comeback. The Valor claimed their 8th consecutive victory, 82-60 over the Sterling Warriors.
Evangel Valor women's basketball took their 5th consecutive win in a row against Sterling College on Saturday. The score was 45-37 at halftime, with Evangel holding on to the lead, which was only expanded on in the second half of the game. Valor made 71.4% of the shots from the floor in the final quarter of the game, boosting Evangel's score by 22 points, making the final score of the game 85-70, with a victory for our Valor. Carson Dillard was the leading scorer with 20 points towards the win, assisted by Kami Jenkins, who had 17 points and 13 rebounds. Evangel Valor baseball took a loss against McPherson College on Sunday in a doubleheader. The games were postponed from original times due to the cold weather over the weekend. When they finally got to play, the first game was a full 9 innings where Evangel held offensively against the Bulldogs in the beginning, but the Bulldogs came back in the later innings, leaving the score of game 1 6-7, Evangel's loss. Game 2 wasn't any better as it was a 7-inning game where the Bulldogs scored 6 runs in the first inning. Evangel was unable to come back, leaving the final score of the game 8-3 with a loss for Evangel.
Early last week, Valor Track and Field competed in the KCAC Indoor Track and Field Conference Championships in Omaha, Nebraska. The women's team had a great meet. They were highlighted by 3 first-place finishes from April Phillips, along with a national qualification for long jump. Also highlighted by 2 first-place finishes from Delaney Weimer. The women's team finished second in the conference right behind St. Mary. The Valor men also competed well. They were highlighted by a first-place win from their DMR team. The DMR team consisted of Ethan Smith, Tyler White, Isaiah Flores, and Ethan Montgomery. They finished with an impressive 10 minutes and 44 seconds. Valor men walked with a fourth place finish in the conference. Along with our athletes, the coaching staff also had some remarkable accomplishments. Head coach Brandon Staley and assistant coach Josh Sock were both named KCAC Coaches of the Year. Man, overall, great performances from our athletes, good accomplishments from the coaches. But I got to say, I think the thing I'm most impressed with is men's basketball right now.
Oh, yeah.
The 8th consecutive win. They've just managed to turn the heat up and keep it going.
Yeah, for sure. And like you were saying, they're really big second half players in this, aren't they?
Absolutely. They won't let a team get ahead of them in the second half. Even if it's a narrow score, they're going to maintain that lead or even turn it up and go on a good run. Didn't you say women's basketball was doing pretty good too?
Yeah, they are on their 5th consecutive win in a row right now, and I think a similar thing goes for them in that they come back in the second half. Even if they are ahead by a little bit or behind by a little bit, they expanded their lead by 22 points in this past game. So that's a really crazy performance out there from our Valor basketball this week.
Oh, that's awesome. Hopefully they can keep it up and keep the streak going.
Yeah, for sure. Coming up next, I'll be here with Evangel track and field athlete Bo Flores to talk about the track season.
And later we'll look at some of the most significant college games from the weekend and take a look at the NBA All-Star Weekend. We'll be right back.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff. Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
Welcome back. I'm here with Evangel track athlete Bo Flores. Thank you, Bo, for being with us today.
Yeah, no problem.
So, how did your Evangel journey begin?
Yeah, it began just wanting to continue my athletic journey coming out of high school. So I initially reached out to the coach here, and then they reached back out to me, and kind of just from there, I decided to commit to coming to Evangel to run track and cross country, and so that's how it started.
Were you a track athlete in high school?
Yeah, for 4 years I was a varsity track athlete.
Oh, nice. And so what events did you compete in?
I mainly compete in distance events and mid-distance events like 800 and the mile.
Is that what you're doing now at Evangel? Or?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. So how's the season been going so far for you and the team?
So far, the season has gone better than expected, actually. Obviously, we have high expectations going in, but I think the team as a whole has surpassed those expectations so far.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So as a captain, what have you had to step up and do for the team?
Yeah, just overall leadership among the team. I feel like I've had to step up myself in just leading the team in different ways, spiritually, academically, and then also on the track as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So do you know, or do any names come to mind when you think of people who have had some highlight performances this year for the team? Or?
Yeah, for sure. Right now, our two high jumpers are doing a great job, and they qualified for nationals. Nice. Jacob Gillies and April Phillips, so they're doing really well right now, as well as Delaney Weimer. She's done really well. She's a sprinter. And also Ethan Montgomery, he's also qualified for nationals in the mile as well.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. So looking back on the year, are there any specific events that stick out to you as memorable this year?
Yeah, I mean, every day with the team is obviously a memorable time, but I think just our recent conference trip that we took to Nebraska, that kind of just sticks out to me because it brought the team together so much more, and then obviously on the track everyone went out and competed to the best of their ability.
Yeah, for sure. What are some challenges you guys have experienced as a team this year?
Yeah, in practices every day there's many challenges, just the everyday aches and pains obviously.
Yeah.
And then just time management altogether, because track does take a toll on your body, on your mind, and just every day going through the same routine. It gets tiring, but overall the team has come together and pulled through, and it's looking good.
Yeah, for sure. As a runner, are there certain aspects of the game that prove more challenging than other aspects?
Yeah, like I said, it's an everyday thing, so it just takes a toll on your body. But I think the coaches do a really good job with us to make sure that we're getting the things that we need to take care of our bodies and getting the proper rest, proper nutrition. So, yeah, I think although there are challenges, I think everybody does what they need to do to overcome those challenges.
Yeah. So as you guys are moving further into the season, moving from indoor to outdoor or vice versa, how is that changing the meets that you guys are doing?
Yeah, obviously coming from indoor to outdoor, the weather is a big thing. So obviously here in Missouri, the weather is really unpredictable.
Yeah, right.
So you never know what to expect. But it's honestly one of my favorite things is our outdoor season, because I think that's when things are starting to ramp up, times are starting to get faster, and so it just makes everything more fun.
Yeah, for sure. If there was any piece of advice you could give to incoming college athletes, what would that be?
It would just be to stay the course. Like I said, there are going to be challenges. That's in everything that you do. So no matter what challenges you face, I would say to continue to stay the course, and it'll eventually pay off.
Yeah, and what have been some of your biggest personal challenges when competing?
Yeah. My freshman year, I had to overcome a lot of injuries, so that was the biggest thing for me, just having to overcome those injuries and then still stay the course and not get frustrated within myself, but to just keep on pushing through and then finally overcoming those injuries and then succeeding eventually.
What are some of the events that they're qualifying for?
Yeah, so three of our national qualifiers are in high jump. So we have a really good high jumping program here right now. And then also we have Delaney, who qualified in the 60-meter sprint and the 200. So, and then we also have Ethan Montgomery, who qualified in the mile as well.
Okay, nice. And are they performing really well at practices as well? Or?
Oh yeah, they push us as a whole team. They push us every day to be better. So I think it's proper that we return the favor in pushing them as well.
And what are some morals that you're trying to instill as a leader on the team in your fellow athletes?
Yeah, one of the morals that I'm trying to push is that track and running isn't everything in life. There's so much more to life in general, and so just kind of pushing that spiritual aspect more, that God is in control over our lives and running isn't.
Isn't everything? Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for being with us today, Bo. Good luck this season. Coming up, we'll look at college basketball and see the St. Louis Blues were able to pull off a win in the NHL. Stay tuned.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In news of women's basketball, South Carolina University went up against the University of Georgia on Sunday at the Colonial Life Arena in South Carolina. Georgia started the game off strong, outscoring South Carolina 22-8 in the first half. The Gamecocks bounced back in the second half, outscoring the Bulldogs in the paint 32-28. South Carolina's Camila Cardoso managed 16 points and 16 rebounds. Chloe Kitts for South Carolina also had a notable performance as she hit 12 points and 7 rebounds. Georgia managed to keep the score within single digits. However, once South Carolina found their rhythm, they managed to hold the lead and claim a 70-56 victory over Georgia. This marks a 43rd straight SEC regular season win for South Carolina.
The Ohio State Buckeyes defeated the number 2 seed Purdue Boilermakers on Sunday at Value City Arena in Ohio. The Boilermakers had not lost a game since January 9th compared to the Buckeyes, who had lost 9 of 11 games. With the game's final score being Ohio State 73 and Purdue 69, it was a close game, but a great win for the Buckeyes nonetheless. Zach Edey scored 22 points for Purdue and also had 13 rebounds, becoming the program's all-time top rebounder. It was a great game, but not enough for the Boilermakers to pull through. Taking a look into the world of professional hockey, the Nashville Predators played the St. Louis Blues at Enterprise Center on Saturday. Jose Serros made 35 saves for the Predators as Nashville defeated the Blues, leaving the final score of the game at 5-2. The head coach is enthused as this has been a major improvement from the previous games this season, and he is hoping that they will continue to improve and win upcoming games as a result.
It was an eventful weekend. This was the yearly NBA All-Star Weekend held in Indianapolis. And on Sunday, the 73rd edition of the NBA All-Star reverted to its traditional format of East versus West, and they held 4 12-minute quarters overall. And the game lacked defense from both sides, allowing both teams to raise the score as they please. In the first half, the East attempted 48 three-pointers and managed to make 22 of them. The West attempted 28 and managed to make 10. Throughout the rest of the game, the score would be raised to 211 to 186, a win for the East. This breaks the record for the highest score in an All-Star match, which was previously 199. Milwaukee's Damian Lillard managed 39 points for the East and was voted this year's MVP. Beyond the matchup game, this weekend also included the famous slam dunk contest, which was won by the Magic's Mac McClung.
We had a great week in the world of professional sports for sure. You want to tell us a little bit more about that All-Star game?
Yeah, it was a great game. I will say there was no defense. That was really, and that's really when you see the score raised to 211. You can tell the defense isn't working much, but the offense was really heating up. So it was really fun to watch that, but also just see these athletes come together in a different format was very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. 211.
That's a record breaker,
yeah,
for sure.
That's a high score.
Tell me a little bit more about the Buckeyes going against Purdue.
Yeah, so the Buckeyes defeated the number 2 seed in their division, which is crazy, especially after some of the losses they've seen this season. But the game was great, and though it was really close, they put in that work, and I think they're hoping to see a lot of improvements for the rest of the season. So it's looking pretty good.
Well, that's awesome. When we come back, we'll have the EUTV Player of the Week.
We'll also have your upcoming Evangel games this week. We'll be right back.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
Do clouds take naps?
I couldn't tell you.
Dad, do stars visit their friends?
Look!
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that I would never be able to get over it and that my kids wouldn't have a father. I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. For the longest time, fear held me back from ultimately being who I wanted to. I had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
And Elijah, it's been a great week for Valor Sports. Some great performances from our athletes overall.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how they're going to do next week. Now let's take a look at one of our own and honor their hard work.
Absolutely. It's time now for the EUTV Sports Player of the Week. This week's EUTV Player of the Week is Josh Pritchett. Pritchett is a graduate student and a 6'4" guard from Rolla, Missouri. Josh led the Valor in the win over Sterling, scoring 19 points and had 7 rebounds and 6 assists. Josh was able to lead the Valor in another win with his strong offense. Congratulations, Josh, on these amazing accomplishments. Wow, a great performance from Josh Pritchett. I mean, 19 points against Sterling, that could not have been an easy task.
Yeah, for sure, and he led his team with 7 rebounds, so he's definitely being a team player this week.
For sure, and being a graduate student, he understands the team. He's been with them for a while, so it's cool to see his career kind of progress in that way.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully we'll see some great performances from him in the future.
Absolutely. So. Now let's take a look at the upcoming Evangel games this week. Men's basketball will be competing Wednesday in Ottawa, Kansas against Ottawa University, and again on Saturday in the Ashcroft Center for the Last Dance.
Women's basketball will also be playing on Wednesday the 21st against Ottawa University in Ottawa, Kansas, and then we'll be having their Last Dance game on Saturday the 24th at 1 p.m.
Men's and women's tennis will be competing on February 24th, Saturday, against Missouri Valley in Marshall, Missouri.
Evangel Valor Baseball will be having 3 games, one on Friday against Kansas Wesleyan, and then one on a doubleheader on Saturday versus Kansas Wesleyan.
Softball will be competing Friday, February 24th for a doubleheader against Central Baptist College in Conway, Arkansas, and again on Saturday, another doubleheader against Cotty College in Nevada, Missouri.
Men's and women's golf will be competing Monday, February 26th at 9 for the Fort Hymn Classic in Arlington, Texas.
All right, let's go Valor.
Yeah.
Some exciting games coming up this week, for sure. But I think there's one that's catching everybody's attention, The Last Dance.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
The Last Dance is going to be Valor Basketball's last game of the season in the Ashcroft Center. It's commemorating the new Valor Center that's being built, and I think it's just an exciting time for everyone.
Oh, absolutely. Being a part of it, but I mean, you got to think of the history of the great players who've played through there. I mean, these players could have relatives that played in that building, and now they're ending it, their career in there. It's going to be an awesome game.
Yeah, for sure. I know the coaches are hoping that some former players will come out and support the team, so I think that'll be a really exciting game for everyone. So.
I agree.
Well, that's all the time we have for today for Sports Update. We invite you to check out euvalormedia.com for all the latest Evangel news and media. I'm Elijah Van Natta.
And I'm Caden McBride. Be sure to join us next week as we bring you the latest in sports news. For more information on Evangel Sports, go to evangelathletics.com. This has been Sports Update on EUTV.